Aloha, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rare Book Cafe, the Book Lovers Rendezvous. This, of course, is the coffee break edition, and here I am with my cup of Kona.
Well, we're jealous.
We've been jealous for a couple of weeks now.
The coffee?
No, it's where you
the
are.
location.
Hello, Lee, my co-host, Lee, Linn, Ridge Books, Calhoun, Georgia. How you doing, Lee?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine, and I apologize for the big box of bubble wrap that's sitting behind me. I need to tidy up things a little bit.
Well, there's nothing that's greater than working in your home, as far as I'm concerned.
That is true. That is true.
Short commutes and short naps.
Well, I get those. I've been taking a good many of those lately.
When you need them. And our guest this week is, we're always glad to have back Barbara Loe, who always brings with her fun, fabulous, fancy flirtations, and hopefully financially worthwhile ephemera. Hello, Barbara.
Hi. Okay, it looks like you got some visitors behind you there.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I'm in a cafe here at the hotel on
That's
Waikiki
okay.
Beach. I was going to do the show out on the Waikiki Beach with a Hilton Head in the background, but it's still a little bit dark here.
Oh, well, that's because it's early.
That's right.
Because it's early. So, Barbara, where have you been and where are you going?
Well, I earlier this month I did a paper and postcard show in DeLand, Florida, and then I left there and I went up to Hartford, Connecticut for Paper Mania, which is one of my favorite shows. It's always got great buying, great selling, and it's just fun. I love the fact that we have loyal customers that come back year after year and time after time.
Barbara, I'm embarrassed to admit I've never been to a paper show. Are there book dealers at paper shows?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, what we're finding is that the adjacent collecting hobbies really are starting to show up together. So there's only really one or two ephemera shows. The rest tend to be either combined with a book fair or combined with a postcard fair. And but in both cases, they're adjacent collecting areas. And so I find it to be really interesting in that regard.
And it's also, I think some people kind of get into paper collecting because of the paper that they find in books that they've collected.
That happens a lot.
That happens a lot. And, you know, when we've had David Hess on to talk about things that he finds in old books, that's a parallel thing there. But it's great what you find in old books.
Yeah.
You know, I'm giving consideration to restructuring my business to only do letters, manuscripts, documents, and autographs. To books are getting kind of heavy at my age.
Yeah.
Well, don't be fooled. Paper's heavy too.
Of course.
But
Barbara, what have you brought to us today?
Well, I brought several things that I got. So I'm going to start with this. This is a hidden image card, and it says "A Natural Curiosity in St. Helena." And
hold it up so we can see.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see, but
oh, I see it. You see it,
yeah.
One? Could that be somebody standing between two trees?
There it is. That's Napoleon Bonaparte. And of course, he was exiled on St. Helena.
Yeah.
This is an early piece, and usually you see it colored. This is an early piece because it's still black and white. It's not been printed in color or colored in. And so that's an interesting thing. I always like those hidden image things. Sometimes they're easy to pick out, and sometimes they're.
Where was it produced, and for what kind of market?
I think it's kind of a souvenir type thing, and let's see. Well, it was drawn from nature on the spot. That's what it says.
Okay.
Doesn't say where it was produced, but I'm going to say, based on the paper and everything, that it was probably England.
The market was probably disgruntled soldiers looking to
Yeah,
return.
there
to
you
France.
go. There you go. They were glad that he was, exiled on the.
Right.
So that's a nice piece that I have.
Very cool. Very cool.
Now we'll go to something in color. This is a die cut accordion storyboard. This one happens to be, can you see that? Hansel and Gretel. And so it's a six
I love
panel.
that story.
Yeah, it's a 6-panel die cut. And on the back, this was produced by C.B. Kenny, and to advertise their teas and coffees. And it's a type of thing that you could just set up on your tabletop in an
They
accordion.
tell the whole story of Hansel and Gretel in 6 panels.
Yeah, and there I think is your favorite spot where she's pushing the witch in the oven.
I was just going to ask, is there a panel where they push her in the oven?
Yeah, she's in the oven now.
She
my
has
favorite.
the oven closed anyway.
Yeah, she's got it closed, and then they get home happily to the parents. So that's a fun little marketing piece. Then I have, which I find to be really interesting. This is a friendship token hair memorial. So I'm going to get real close to that. That is
Real hair.
hair with a little bow on it. And the person that gave it, I'll read you the poem underneath. It says, receive this hair as from a friend who loves you from her heart. And, oh, it's hard to read. And when this earthly life shall end, may we unite where we unite and never part. And then it's signed by the gal that did it. So it's a really, really interesting piece. And this is from, I would say, the mid 1800s.
Well, that was a relatively common thing in the 1800s, wasn't it?
It was. That was
hair
how
braids.
that's how they would exchange, tokens of affection, and amazingly, it's still just exactly in the same condition that it was when she gave it to him.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you can tell just how early it is the really tight braiding on it. They really were meticulous about how they presented things like that.
And then a lot of those were death memorial things too.
Yeah. A lot of them are. This one is like, we're still alive, and
Right. Yeah.
when we die, we'll meet up again. But a lot of times you see them as death memorials.
Yeah.
Clip the hair.
It's uncommon, but occasionally you'll see a lock of hair from Abraham Lincoln that was taken on his deathbed. I probably think I've seen 3 or 4 of them that have been authenticated and put on the auction market.
Yeah, that was a very common thing that they did in the 1800s. It was just a way to remember the person and have a little memory. Sometimes they'd put it in a locket.
I'm just hoping I got hair left by the time that comes.
Sometimes they'd put it on a little brooch and they'd wear it. So it was a very common thing to do.
Or in a locket.
Yeah. So now this next thing I'm going to show you is a souvenir, and it's called the Rose of Canada. And so if you were traveling to Canada, you could pick up this souvenir, and each panel has a scene from a different location in Canada, and it's the front and the back, And I'll pull in on one that you should be able to recognize here. I'll pull in a close-up there. You recognize?
Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
That's right. And so this would then fold up, and it would be, whoops, get it. It would fold up into a little rose, and that would have an accompanying envelope. And this one's been clipped so that they could get it out, but it's very rare to find them with the original envelope. And this was printed by Magnus, and who had his hand in just about everything, I think.
You know, we're very lucky to have a great neighbor like Canada to the north, but they really love rubbing it in that they got the best falls.
They do. Anyway, so that's a nice souvenir piece that has come to us. And then here's another item which I think is fun. And this is a souvenir from Bon Marche, which was the largest department store in the world. And it's really the one that inspired Selfridges, Harrods, Marshall Fields in Chicago, Macy's. This is the store that really was the ultimate shopping experience, and they put out a ton of promotional material. So this is a fan with 7 blades. It folds up, and each one has a different scene, and these were produced right around 1900, and I believe they were produced for the World's Fair when it went back to Paris. And one of the things I love about it is on the back, when it's unfolded, there's the image of the store. And so.
You know, Barbara, on last week's show, we were talking about chromolithography as the color printing method.
Right.
Is that common in the ephemera world as well?
Very much. Yeah. Chromolithography was what you see for most of the printed items from, I would say, about 1870 to about 1900. And particularly for advertising, it was extremely expensive to advertise in a magazine or everything. Once offset press came in, then it became cheap to advertise. And so these beautiful chromolithography items went away, because you look at something like this, and there would have been 14 stones that would have been used to print this.
Wow.
So, you know, the artist draws the picture, then he separates the colors, and then they print. And so today they might do yellow, and then they let that dry. And then the next day they might do red. And then the next day they would do blue. And you know, of course, you have to get the registration perfect for it to line up. And every now and then you'll see an item where one color is slightly off on the registration. You might not have known what that was about, but that's a common thing to see. But the workmanship is just incredible. And what I love about it is it looks like it was printed this morning. And, you know, and the other interesting thing is we can't replicate that today. As good as our laser printers are, if you look at them up close, you can still see pixels. There are no pixels in this because they were done on lithographic stones. And so it's a wonderful sample of a past technology that we're unlikely to see again, because it was just too labor intensive and expensive to do once they had cheaper printing methods.
Well, while you're talking about that, I'm going to hold up my coffee cup sleeve, printed in color. Let's compare the two.
Okay.
Oh, yours is definitely much better. Definitely.
Well, and the detail on hers is so much more.
Yeah.
I
just got a coffee bean on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, some of the, I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I'm going to show you a quick cigar label. some of the absolute best chromolithography ever is on cigar labels. I mean, the colors just jump out at you, you know. And so it's just chromolithography is just a wonderful lost art. And then the final thing I'm going to show you is we're coming up on Mardi Gras time, and this is invitation. So on one side, and actually, I think this is the Society of Cincinnatus instead of actual Mardi Gras, but they were very close. So here's the one side with the binoculars, and then here's the other. And this opens up, and it opens up again, and again, and again. Whoops.
What fell out there?
I'll get to that. Okay, so it completely opens up, and then inside is the actual invitation. Okay, and that also opens up, and
Again and again.
again and again and again. Yep. And inside, you've got this magnificent image. I don't know if you can see that clearly. And then inside that, then was the actual invitation ticket to the event. And in this case, the business card for the person that sent it. And so this is from the Order of Cincinnatus, which was one of the fraternal organizations from that period. So, I mean, it's just a wonderful piece. And to think that that has remained intact with the insides. And
If I'm not mistaken, I think George Washington was a member of the Order of Cincinnatus. It was very popular during the time of the Revolutionary War.
yeah, it was. And but I mean, to think that all the panels are there, it's fully intact, it's in great condition, and it's just a magnificent piece. I'm going to show you the back. Got a little devil there.
Do you have the date on that?
This was 1882.
Okay.
Origami has nothing on that.
That boy, no kid,
Oh.
no kid. But those are the things that I brought today. You know, I always try to come up with something different that maybe you haven't seen before. But I am really excited about the Florida Antiquarian Book Fair. I always look forward to that. It's a wonderful fair. We have great repeat customers. We have great new customers. One of the things I love about this fair in particular is you can't believe the number of young people that come to it. And Lee, you can probably testify to that too.
Yeah.
I see people coming through with babies in strollers. And they're not just looking, they're actually looking and buying things. And yet you have people from all ages. And I always like it when kids come by because I like to tell them a little bit about something, and maybe I give them a trade card or something to, you know, have, because it's one of the few fairs where we get a lot of young people, and I love that they're discovering books and ephemera and the joy of collecting these wonderful things that we all love.
And we get so many who say, "I've never been to anything like this," you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And it's an opportunity to meet one-on-one with new collectors. And while they may not buy anything much, or they may buy a $20 book or something, then they come back.
Right. Exactly.
And it's the last 2 years, you know, since we opened back up after the pandemic, the number of young people, I think, has really increased.
Yeah, I agree.
Very much so. And that's just a really positive thing. And we're finding here on Rare Book Cafe that we're having more younger exhibitors that we have
Which is
interviewed last week.
wonderful. Yeah.
And we need that. You know, we
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody, as I've said before, the Rare Book Cafe is sponsored by the Florida Antiquarian Book Fair. It's going to be March 1st through March 3rd in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it's going to be held at the Lee
At the Coliseum,
Coliseum.
which is a wonderful venue.
And I want to share a couple more things, if I can, real quickly. So the Ephemera Society of America, our meeting in Greenwich, Connecticut, is 2 weeks later. So we have the Florida show, then I get to go home and rest for a day or two, and then I drive up to Greenwich, Connecticut, and we have a conference and a 2-day fair. And the theme of our conference this year is conflict resolution. And we plan these things years in advance. So it is always amazing to me when we have a topic and then all of a sudden we're living through that topic.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're very excited about that. And this Friday, we're doing a virtual preview event. And we have 2 presentations that you can go to the Ephemera Society of America website and you can register for it. It's free, totally free, and you can attend the webinar. One of the presenters is going to talk about the conflict between when the mail order catalogs and department stores started mailing things to rural customers, and the local rural merchants who were seeing that as impinging on their business area. And so that is the conflict in that presentation. And then the second presentation is talking about Chinese in America and the Q, and how it became a divisive symbol, that it was really important to the Chinese to keep their Q, and the Americans wanted them to cut them off so that they would assimilate and blend in more, and it became a big source of conflict. So those are our 2 presentations, but those are free, and you go to the Ephemera Society of America website and you can register for that, and it's Friday afternoon. And then that's going to be followed by a virtual fair this weekend.
And that's this Friday.
That's this Friday, yeah.
And those webinars are really good. They are very, very much worth.
Sounds very educational.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually my job on the board of the Ephemera Society, is I put together all that conference stuff.
Yeah. I'm not going to do the virtual fair simply because I still can't get upstairs to the stuff to put it together, but I have in the past. And
Lee, I have an idea for you.
Yes.
So I've had 4 ankle surgeries.
Yeah.
And each
But you only have 2 feet.
Huh?
But you only have 2 ankles.
Yeah, there you go. So think about that for a minute. Each time I've been on a knee scooter, non-weight bearing, for 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Here's what I did. I had my kids go up to my office and take pictures of my office and bring them down on the phone. And then I could point to things and say, would you bring me down that book? Would you bring me down that thing? Would you bring me down that? And they would know right what to go look for because I showed them on the picture. Just an idea.
Well, I've been back in business now for a month and a half. And so my son, who is here with me, performs the function of going up and getting the things. But I still have unpacked books from Boston, that
sure you do.
that Richard shipped back for me. But I have started climbing a couple of stairs at a time. And so I'm hoping that I can get back upstairs. Well, the goal is to have plenty of time to pack for Florida.
Oh, well, I hope so.
But I'm coming. I'm coming.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you.
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, my support group from Boston.
Well, just remember, you don't heal as fast at this age as you did.
Oh, Lord, I know. I know that.
Barbara, we're always looking forward to seeing you on the show. You brought some wonderful material. I know before the show started, you showed us about 15 pieces, and we selected about half of them. I hope you come back and share the others sometime.
Well, I hope so too. I love the Rare Book Cafe and I love the Florida Antiquarian Book Fair. It is just a wonderful thing. And as Lee said, it's so nice to see all the other dealers and the returning customers and to meet new customers and new friends.
Yeah.
So
It's just old home week.
it is. It's just wonderful. So
All right, folks.
We've been trying to get Ed interested in coming down.
As soon as I get back to the mainland.
Do you think we can get him off that island?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, folks, that wraps it up. It's another edition of the Rare Book Cafe, the Book Lovers Rendezvous. You can find us every week on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or wherever good podcasts are given away for free. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye, Lee.
Bye-bye, everybody.